Good morning, everybody. We're here with our first of the month studio jump start for you. Um, the big thing Steph and I've been working with for probably forever, but really with some focus since December is stillness. And as we've worked with it, we've been working added in stillness and movement or contemplation and action. That sometimes that transition place between those two states, I don't know about you, but it can get me hung up a little bit. So, how do I call myself back to myself? And that's what I've been working with this past week, just kind of feeling like I have energy, but no motivation to do anything. So, and how I usually spend my time is I just hang out and fart around, like Kurt Vonnegut says, which is good, but how do I bring movement into that energetic feeling I have and not just be a hand on my own bell and stop the energy or the motivation? So the sensing I would like to offer you this morning is the practice of pausing long enough to notice our immediate perceptions, what's happening around us. For me, that kind of work is what allows me the capacity to cultivate staying connected to myself and not go into hiding or trying to get away from the experience I'm having in the moment. And I'm finding that the more I do it, I cultivate trust for myself to come back to and go, this is my experience. This is what's happening. Not interpreting it, but just being with it. So for me, that's what feels like that's what helps me meet whatever is arising, is just to be present, the practice of pausing and being present. So let's start with sensing this morning. You're welcome to sit or stand, whichever feels most comfortable to you. Take a little bit of time to let yourself settle. You may want to stretch your arms, sometimes a big and some face movement helps. As you're doing that, notice the coming and going of your breath. It's not special, it's just your normal daily breathing. Keep your eyes soft and open. I know we close our eyes a lot for a lot of these explorations, but you can keep them open and just soft. And then I'm going to ask you 4 or 5 questions. All you need to do is answer simply with the first response that arises, and then come back to settling. It's just naming it and coming back in, and then I'll offer you the next question, and we'll go from there. So if you're ready, the first question is, I am aware of seeing. Just naming what you're seeing. It's fill in the blank. Checking in with your breathing. The next question, I am aware of hearing. The next question is, I am aware of smelling. I am aware of tasting. I am aware of touching. And I am aware of movement. And noticing where movement feels most alive in you right now. And using that movement to carry the energy you're feeling inside to your scribble and scribbling with that movement. And then we'll come back together for the writing prompt. And we'll write for about 2 minutes. And I'll let you know. What's going to happen is Steph and I will leave for a little while and have our studio time. You can keep writing when you or move to your own journal. You might want to pause us because we'll come back and we'll do our after studio chat. But I will let you know those things. So the writing prompt for this month is, how does taking the time to be with myself, to be with my senses, enrich me? This is a good time to check in and see if you want to continue writing. Maybe you want to go back to your scribble or spend some time in your journal. And Steph and I are going to pause now, and we'll see you on the flip side for a studio chat. So we are back from our studio time, and it's always a good time to check in, see what's moved you, what's floated your boat during this time we've spent together. Maybe it was something in the sensing, maybe it was something in the scribbling or the writing, or just working in your journal in the stillness of yourself. What I'm most aware of is I want some big experience, God damn it. Particularly when I'm working so hard on something. And I've been feeling crunchy over the last couple of weeks. And I came thinking that maybe, there's always that wanting to push it to get that big experience. And what was up for me this morning was in our last Sunday session, that poem, the process poem that comes through me as I work on my pages, it arrived. And that's what I wanted to do today. Just glue down the words. Such a small act. But what I really discovered as I'm gluing them down, I'm thinking, oh, this is just what I needed. To settle down, to be present with my breath. The way I do the poems, because I'm using all the magazine phrases and words that just kind of spark my interest, and then arranging them. My critical mind doesn't get involved. It's just like, oh, okay, this just came through me with words I found, like the images in collages or when we paint. And I feel 100% better than when we began. There's still crunchiness in my life. But that going through the senses, and just naming the first thing that came up and not going any further with it, not telling a story about it, or not going, what the hell? I'm in my studio. I can't hear anything. We're supposed to be silent. But really, I did hear. There's just a little hum that's there in the background. So there's something about that here-ness, that this is what it is. This is all there is. It's right now.
Oh, yeah.
And crunchiness will continue. But really what's important, how my life is enriched, this work that we do, is that I can call myself back to myself. I can trust that I can work through that crunchiness that has arisen, that it doesn't define me, and find that still point in myself again, where energy and motivation can merge, action and contemplation can happen. And maybe that's all it is. It's so big. It's such a huge discovery.
Yeah, it is huge. I had similar thoughts or feelings. Actually, the sensing was great, and I love using our senses to sort of bring me back to that place of trust. It's like, for me, it's trust versus a low grade scattered panic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, if I can use my senses to get myself back into that deeper trusting space, then I'm good, because then I know I even wrote something down. Pausing and using my senses to call myself home keeps me in that deep down place of trusting myself, trusting that I have cycles, that it's going to be okay, and that this will pass. So stay with it, even if it's uncomfortable, because it's like it's all transient, and to just witness and be there, and that feels really big and small at the same time. It feels
Mhm.
big, but if I judge it from my mind and from how society has cultivated me and whatever, then it's not enough. But
Yeah.
it's plenty. Yeah, this is the, I mean, this is what I want, and I'm hopefully learning through doing this together and by myself or whenever, that it's not something for me. It's not something that is an all the time place for me. I
Mhm.
would like that, but I'm okay. I'm gonna try not to beat myself up when I'm not there all the time, because I feel like that's unrealistic for me. But when I can call myself back over and over again more often, I mean, I got to consider that a win, like a big win, honestly.
And I thought it's interesting that we try so hard to be so good, and that low grade panic that lives there. And then when we're not good, by whose standards? I mean, by our own little internal rules that our narrative self is keeping us on track with. When we're not good, when I'm not good, that's when I could use the biggest amount of self love and self care.
Hmm. Yep.
It's the place where I can just go in and wail away on myself about how many years have you done this work? You think you could do this better by now? And if I can just stop in that moment and shift that piece, and what better way than my senses? They're always with us. What, even if there's not something, what am I smelling? Nothing. And that, for me, I could go through that 4 or 5 times,
Hmm.
and or take longer between the times to just, like, it was incredible to let that little humming noise just come to me instead of reaching out to find a noise or to find a taste.
Or even it works for me too if I'm annoyed by something, like a noise
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But if I actually just bring one in and just be
Mm-hmm.
with it doesn't then it stops becoming annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's an acceptance, but it's also, shifting over to, it's like hearing a bell. Anything can be your bell if you let it.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's now if I can just get over wanting the big shiny experience.
I struggle with that as well. And we probably all do, just because, I mean, we're Americans living in a big old American society, and that's how we
Yeah.
grow. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's a deal. It's interesting to work with, the that stuff. And at the same time, more and more and more, I appreciate the small discoveries
Mm,
that, when my mind isn't critiquing and judging and carrying on and trying to figure shit out, that's all right here. And it's just like, here, I see this. If I don't have to name what it is or what it belongs to, here's this beautiful shade of blue. Here's that small hum. Here's my cat taking a shit in the litter box for smell. It's like, great, but it's a call back. Something just
right.
occurred, and can I be present enough to be with it without trying to hide from it or get away from it? To just, like you said, be in it.
Mm,
And the annoying part does subside. It's when I struggle against.
right. And when I've named it as annoying or whatever the label I put on it, that is uncomfortable.
Yeah. Mm,
Wow.
well, thank you. Another great beginning the month jumpstart.
Thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to perfect time, February, to work with the just coming back to your senses.
Yeah, it's for Valentine's Day for self. I always think of self-care when I think of Valentine's Day and at this point. So it's perfect.
Yep. So send yourself a Valentine and hang out with your six senses.
Yeah.
Right? Six. So see you guys next month. Thanks.